Welcome to Lombardi's Legends podcast. Wags, very, very special guest today. Green Bay Packers tight end Dominique Dafney, a guy who came on late in the season, flashed a lot of potential, and somebody who I think is going to be right in the mix at a very deep tight end group this season.
Yeah, one of the really cool individual stories from come last year. Really contributed significantly when we started to get a little thin with some injuries at the tight end position late in the season. Not only on the offensive side, special teams especially, he made a big impact. So started camp here on the PUP list, but is active now. And we got a chance to talk to him a little over a week ago prior to camp starting, and he's ready to go this year. So I think it's going to be exciting to see him out there competing. And clearly, we saw at the end of the last season the way that he picked things up. Hopefully he's able to just continue from where he left off.
Yeah, as you said, he contributes to a lot of different facets of the game. He fits kind of what the Packers are looking for, I think, out of a guy who can play some tight end, some of that H-back as well, give them a lot of different looks. And while DeGuara is working his way back from the ACL injury, I think that both he and Dafney together could give the Packers some fun looks too. I don't think that they're duplicitous. I think that they can actually do two different things, but also serve similar functions. But Dafney's special teams on top of it, he just kind of fits what the Packers do. Definitely a student of the game, somebody who definitely prided himself on knowing what was going on, asked a lot of questions, stayed late a lot of times, kind of your prototypical Packer guy that comes in under the radar and then contributes. So really fun interview, somebody that I really enjoyed listening to, understands the game, and no doubt about it, the moment's not too big for Dominique Dafney.
For sure. So for those of you that are newer to the show, definitely stay tuned for this one. We'll get to the interview here in a moment, but we've got a bunch of other interviews. If you haven't seen those that we dropped here in the last couple of weeks during the off season, we were able to get some of these guys on before camp broke. So go check those out too. We will have some regular podcasts talking how the team's shaping up here in camp coming up. But wanted to be able to share all of these guys that were gracious enough to come on. So you can find us all the normal places, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. So check us out, share us, etc. Thanks so much for jumping aboard, checking us out, and let us know how you think we're doing. So appreciate you listening. With that, Dane, I think let's get to the interview with Dominique Dafney.
Go Pack, go Wags.
Go Pack, go. And welcome into Lombardi's Legends. And tonight we are joined by special guest, Packers tight end, Dominique Dafney. Dominique, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We are super excited to have you on. So first, I guess we just want to dive into your journey in the Packers. A lot to talk about, but first of all, what does it mean to you, and what is it like to be a Green Bay Packer?
It's actually funny because I was thinking about that the other day. I've been in Green Bay for a while, just training and working out, and I actually thought about that. And I personally think I couldn't have been put into a better position coming in with the coaching staff, the players, the tight ends. I feel like it was just the perfect time and just the perfect place for me to be, being that when I had never played tight end before, hadn't played fullback since middle school, and it being my first year, obviously, in the league, with it being such a weird year. Obviously, last year was nowhere near normal. I just feel like this was kind of the best place for me to be, having a really solid and really close tight end room. Knowing some guys on the team prior, like Lazard and Josh Jackson, and then just having coaches like J.O. and just people who are able to push me forward as well as just be there for me outside of football as well.
Yeah, and sorry, I was just going to say, just touching on the fact that you never played tight end before. I mean, I know that you started to have to be a little bit more versatile over the course of your college career because you came in as a receiver, right? When you started in college. Or did you always feel like, you were moving around playing whatever position, that you could get your hands on the ball? Or I guess I'm just kind of curious how that evolution started and what do you think made you land in the role that you are right now?
I honestly think it just kind of is like a big culmination of just my whole football career, even starting when I was like younger, to the point where I couldn't play flag football anymore when I was in second grade because I was too big. So I had to play fourth grade with my brother, and it was tackle football, and I wasn't a running back. I was like a left tackle. So I was in second grade playing fourth graders at left tackle. So, I mean, that was the start. That's how I was brought into this. And then after that, it was fullback, running back, receiver. So I feel like just with my whole past right now is kind of just like all of that in one. And then as you keep going with high school, obviously receiver the whole time, college receiver, but then I played a lot of special teams. So I'm blocking, tackling, running down the field. So then all of that just kind of comes together with where I'm at right now. And I get to just show everything that I've been able to do since the beginning, and then show everything I'm just able to do right now at the best of my ability.
Where did you make the transition? Because from second grade, I remember Wags and I growing up playing football. The big kids played offensive line and defensive line. And then sometimes you're kind of just in that role. It doesn't matter if you don't end up being that big. By high school, you're still playing offensive line or defensive line. So when did you kind of break out of the offensive line role and start catching touchdowns?
I want to say probably like fourth or fifth grade was when I was more of a skill guy, I would say, because growing up, I was just very physical and everything. So obviously being a lineman was, the most physical you could be, like you could be in any sport, in anything. I feel like those are one of the most physical people on this planet, and just they're wired differently. So just the fact that I was so physical growing up, and I didn't like shy away from any type of contact, and then going in, obviously growing up, getting taller, getting faster, stronger, realizing that, I got good hands, I can run the ball well. So obviously you got to transition a little bit. Like, yeah, I think we don't need him on the line anymore. I feel like he could be more, like more special getting the ball and catching the ball. So I say around fourth or fifth grade is kind of when I made the transition to actually being like a skill player.
Do you think it helped you at all? And that's an honest question. I know you're young playing ball, but even to this day, I mean, you're such a versatile guy on this team. You're somebody who can do, I feel like, just about anything to help the team win. But do you think it helped your, from a toughness level? Because you can't be light on the offensive line. You got to be able to be tough. And, at an early age, learning, that like there's a difference between an ouchie and an injury. So do you think that helped you even to this day?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, that's you have to grow up a little bit. You kind of have to shake some of those little scratches and whatnot. You got to shake them off, obviously, because we all wanted to play growing up, and I'm not trying to come out for a little cut or bruise or anything. I want to be in as much as I can. So, I mean, just, yeah, kind of, I'd say like when you lift a lot, like you create scabs on your hands and whatnot, and it kind of makes it easier. So like the more you play football, the more hits you take, you kind of create like a callus to it, and you're just used to it. So then you just keep going on. You're more physical. more physical, and you just keep getting used to it. And you're going to need to be able to hold your own. So I feel like just all that, not being afraid of any type of contact, just being physical, taking it to somebody else, that kind of just helps. Obviously, that's football.
We're talking a lot about the physical aspects of your game in particular, but I'm really interested to ask you about your mental approach, because you're a guy, you go undrafted, and then you're a late signing with the Colts last year, and then we're in final cuts, come in for a workout with Green Bay, and then they add you to practice squad in the middle of the season. First of all, how did you keep yourself mentally focused to be ready for that opportunity when they called? And then by all accounts, you came in and just were ready to seize an opportunity that you had. I mean, to come in the middle of the season and do that is just super impressive. So I'm just kind of curious to hear from you. What was your mental approach to staying sharp and staying prepared for that opportunity?
I would say it was just the part of not being able to play football for so long definitely helped, because I mean, a lot of people did just give up, and they're like, wow, COVID's here. I don't think this is going to be able to happen, any type of thing or any type of excuse you could say. But I think just me not being able to play football and realizing how much I missed it was one thing that was always in the back of my mind. And then just lifting every day, trying to keep myself mentally busy, because obviously with us being in quarantine, like your mind could go any type of way. So just kind of trying to stay busy, trying to stay like working out and staying ready, because we had no idea what was going to happen or when anything was going to happen. So let something happen and I'm not ready, then that's on me. So I didn't want to be in a position where if I was to get a call, I wasn't ready, because then that's my fault. I want to be in control of my future and put anything that I can in my hands. They say, everybody says it all the time, control what you can control. And at the time, what I could control was my body and my mind. So I was just making sure I was staying ready whenever they were going to call, because family and friends were always like, just stay ready. The call is coming. They're going to play football regardless. So the call's coming, just stay ready. And then when I got late August, right? Mid-late August, when I got the call from the Colts, I was literally on the field working out when they called me. And then I think I flew out like the next day or something. And just my mentality was, I'm not trying to come back home, because the summer it was so depressing. Like, let's be honest, like we were all just stuck at home and just had no idea what was going on. And it was just completely depressing. Just having to wake up, go work out, eat, work out again, go home, eat, go to sleep, and just do it all over again. So that just routine was just so monotonous and just, wavering. And when I finally got the call, it's just the mentality of just, I didn't want to go back home and have to do all that again. And then, of course, I did what I had to do, had a pretty good camp, came back home. And then my mentality was like, okay, I've had a taste. Like, there's no going back now. Like, I was there for like a week or two, and I'm like, I literally had a taste of what it was like. So no, this is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. There's no turning back now. Just work even harder. I had a workout with the Patriots and the Packers, and the Packers called, and when they called me, extremely excited, came out the next day and was just in the playbook like every night, just trying to learn it as fast as I could, just in case, because I mean, like you saw, you literally never know what could happen. So I was just trying to be ready and take in as much as I could from the playbook, as well as my teammates, on how to be a good tight end, as well as how to be a fullback and how to lean on other people to try and to try and better myself. So I just took in everything I could on top of just that. I just did not want to go back to Des Moines, Iowa. There was no doing that.
Well, it's truly a meteoric rise on and on a great football team too. So you come in partway through the season. It's an expanded practice squad, right? With the COVID this past season, the Packers open up a spot, bring you in, and you mentioned the playbook and digesting it. I mean, by the end of the year, you were starting in 2 tight end packages. So week 16, week 17. How much of the playbook were you able to digest? Because I mean, the game's fast. The playbook, I imagine, is stacked. I mean, what were those sessions like to just be able to? Do you have a great memory? Because it's pretty remarkable, really.
No, yeah, I pretty much knew like most of it. Beyond 12, he has like his own little playbook that he has when it comes to like 2-minute stuff and whatnot. But I would say I memorized and learned most of it, like a good, I'd say like 95% of it. And yeah, I mean, I'd come home after practice and literally would start right back studying again and going into what I hadn't learned the night before. And then I'd take like a chunk, like, okay, I'm going to do these tonight. And then study these, and then what I had what I've already learned, and try and just keep building on that. And I'll test myself on what I remember, and then like get a whiteboard and like look at the script for the next day, draw those out so I can see what I do know, what I don't know. And then on top of that, I was coming in on every off day with one of our old tight end coaches, Koger, who's with the Rams right now, I want to say. Came in with him every off day, and we were going over like a bunch of stuff for about an hour or two, like every day, or whenever off day is, Tuesday or something like that. So I was coming in every day, and it was kind of just, it was a lot. Like it was just so much to try and, but then he was like, he honestly instilled a lot of confidence in me, I would say, to learn it. He was like, trust me, like, I know it's a lot, but like, you're smart and you know what you're doing. Like, just keep just chopping it down. Like, don't try to learn all of it all at once. Just keep putting it into pieces. And then like, once time comes, like you'll realize that you actually know what you're doing. And I mean, he was right. I just kept like, just piece by piece, was just piecing it all together, like passing, single back, double back, one tight end, 2 tight end, like just kind of taking it all in, just one piece at a time, and then going in, watching film, and he would quiz me and ask me to write stuff up on the board. And like they always say, like, you don't know something until you can coach it. So he would literally give me the marker and be like, all right, this formation, this play, tell me your responsibility, and draw up everybody else's. So I'm like, okay. And we would do that, and we would literally be there for an hour or two, and he'd be like, if you need anything, FaceTime me anytime. And he was serious. I remember one time I FaceTimed him, he had like his child in his hand. He was like literally like taking care of his kid, and he was like, and he was answering. I had like 5 to 10 questions for him just on stuff, and he was there. He was there for me. And honestly, without him and JL, I probably wouldn't have learned all of it as quickly as I did.
Well, that's just really awesome. And thank you for sharing that. It's kind of cool to see behind the scenes of everything that goes into what you have to do. So week 17 against the Bears, can you walk us through that touchdown catch and maybe kind of what was going on heading into that play? What were your emotions during and after the play? Kind of what were you feeling in that moment? And were you like the primary read, secondary read on that play, or how did that all go down?
I remember that on that play, my job was like to be a hot read. So if they blitzed, then the ball could potentially go to me. And then I saw they didn't blitz, so I'm like, okay, I'm just doing my job trying to create space because Tay was in the slot. So he would technically be the first read on that without any blitz. And then I just kept running and I saw space. So I obviously was just running to where there was space to be running to be open. And then I looked back and then the ball was coming. And I was, a little confused because obviously I'm like, the ball is not supposed to be coming to me. Like this was like third read, like one didn't work, two didn't work. Okay, I'm back. And I was just saw the ball coming. And then obviously you could see like my feet freeze a little bit because I'm so focused on not dropping the ball, which is why I fell over. And then realizing that I had scored and it was just like a lot, and saw Lazard come over and like he was screaming because obviously I've known him since we were young. Saw him run over Sadie's, Aaron Jones ran over. So I was just, it didn't feel real. Like in the moment, it was like honestly crazy. And it honestly didn't feel real until the next day because like obviously flying back on the plane, like to me, like just playing in the NFL just seemed just different. Like you see everybody, like I'm over here lined up next to Khalil Mack, just all sorts of guys you watch on TV, and just the moment was just so crazy. And like honestly, it's never anything that I'll ever forget ever. Like it was so surreal and everything just happened so fast, and it was amazing.
And I've got a piggybacking off that. And I genuinely mean this, and not because you're on the podcast right now. I think that might be my favorite series of the season. Not only the touchdown, I think we put it out on social right after, but instantly after, you're on kick coverage, right? Mm-hmm. And you get down there right after scoring a touchdown, and you lay some wood on the return man. I think
Cordell Patterson.
Yeah. On Cordell Patterson.
Yeah.
And you pop up, and that was the moment to us. We've been big supporters of yours prior. We were excited when you came to Green Bay, but that was a moment of this is not too big for Dominique Dafney. That's what it seemed like to us, So how did you feel? Like, what's going through your head? You score that touchdown. Now you got to go right back out there and do your job again. So, did you kind of compartmentalize it for the moment and then, just get right back to work? But it showed a lot of mental toughness to us.
Yeah, coming off the field, everybody wants to slap you on the helmet, tell you congrats. But then I'm like trying to wrestle through everybody because I know I have to be on kickoff. So I'm like, I appreciate it, but you gotta have to get out of the way because I gotta go run down on kickoff too. And then our special teams coach was like, yeah, that's cool and all, but now come make a tackle. So I'm like, okay. So honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it anymore. And then obviously, made the tackle because I honestly saw him stand up, get high. So I'm like, okay, he feels like he has a lane. And he's extremely fast, but he's also really big. So I know I'm not just gonna form tackle him, or else I'm gonna miss the tackle. There's no way. So I kind of just threw my shoulder at him, and I honestly didn't even know I knew it was a big hit because you can kind of feel it, but I didn't know it was that loud. I watched the video, and it truthfully sounds like a home run to deep center. It was extremely loud. So just those plays back to back. I know everybody kept coming up to me and was like, "Congratulations!" and where asking me bro, where did that come from? Just back to back play. And I know Coach LaFleur said the same thing. He was like, "It's just not. It shows that it's not too big." And I just feel like you have to have a level of confidence, no matter what you play or who you are. You could literally be the 53rd man on the roster. You have to have a level of confidence or you will freeze up when it's time to actually do something on the field. So, luckily that was game 4 or 5 that I had played. So all the butterflies were kind of out, but Yeah, at that moment I was just playing football, just trying to enjoy it because, I mean, it's obviously what a lot of us have been wanting to do since we were little. So just the confidence part helped, make both plays, being able to do my job and, oh, wait, now the ball's coming because, 12 can do literally anything. Like anybody, you got to be alert at all times. He's literally like LeBron James. Like anybody's a weapon when he's got the ball in his hand. So you literally have to be ready at all times. And then coming down on kickoff, knowing that you can play with guys like Cordell Patterson, who's one of the best returners in the league and one of the stronger guys, I'd say, because he's not easily to bring down. So
you say anything,
we know I was going to say one thing I was going to say too. We know that Aaron will find the open guy, no doubt about that. But I mean, at the same time, there's a level of trust that he has to have that you're going to be in the right spot, that you're going to make the right read. And so you've talked a little bit about the mental approach that you had, your preparation, your hard work, your physical preparation, everything that you did. And I think part of the reason I'm so interested in that play, and I don't think it's a touchdown, it's a big moment for you, but is there anything you could trace back in practice or in film study that could point to why Aaron was like, okay, he's open, but I trust that he's going to turn and catch the ball. So I'm just curious if that's something you've thought about, or if you even know if there was a moment in practice or leading up to the game that week that you could pinpoint that he had that trust in you.
I think it was just, I wouldn't say it was just one practice. There was just like weeks of practice in a row where I was just trying to lock in and show that I was capable of performing at a high level and that I could be locked in. And again, that the moment wasn't too big for me. And I remember there was one practice that I did have like a really good, I scored like 2-3 touchdowns or something. And then I can't remember who it was. I want to say it was Aaron Jones or someone, but they came up to me and was like, dude, keep doing that because everybody is noticing. Like they notice stuff like that. And he's like, the way you carry yourself, everything. He's like, just keep doing what you're doing, and like you're gonna make the team. You're gonna be up. You're gonna be playing. He's like, just keep working. And I'm pretty sure it was after that practice. He came up to me when we were all leaving, and then I know we have like signals that we do for obviously when like in 2-minute situations, and like a lot of the younger guys have to go up and do the signals in front of everybody in the offensive meeting. And I had done it like by time when I actually was starting to play, I had done it like every week. So, and I was doing them like every time like he said something, I would just keep going. But I would never look at him. I would never look at Aaron because I've learned that's when you mess up, because honestly, like he's Aaron Rodgers. So you could like slip up and you'll like be thinking too much. So I don't ever look him in the eye when he's saying the signals or whatever, because then I know that I'll slip up. So I'll just, every time he says something, I have my head like just facing forward and I'll throw the signal. But I think he notices that I was doing all of them and I was getting them right. And, obviously just the preparation that I was taking into every week and just the plays I was making in during practice. And I feel like all that together kind of led to that, him thinking, oh, here's Daf, he's wide open. I know he can make a play, just based on all the times that I was making plays in practice and coming to compete in practice. And then on top of that, learn the playbook and learn the signals, which is extremely hard because there's no place, the signals aren't anywhere. The only place that the signals are in Aaron's head. So if you know them, like that means you care, you've taken time to actually learn the signals and ask around, oh, what's the signal for this? What's the signal for that?
So listen,
all that together to throw me the ball.
Sorry, you were breaking up just right at the end there. So, we just no, it's just the last quarter second there. So, so Packer fans I think a lot of fans already love you, but I mean, you have a really interesting story in that you come on, you sign with the team. You know, we've kind of gone through some of that, but you've really forced the team's hand, and you kind of underscored that a little bit in some of the things you've said to keep you around. Not only on the practice squad, they elevated you a couple times, but eventually you get signed to the 53. An incredible start to your career in Green Bay, but that was last season, and now this year, you know, starts. We're talking to you just days before training camp begins, and it's another season, it's another grind. What are you looking forward to in your second season in Green Bay? It's a crowded tight end room, but you're a guy who has shown that you can produce. You're a very intelligent player. You've got a great reputation on the team. So what are you looking forward to in year two?
Well, first and foremost, I'm looking forward to having a full preseason. Like, that's nice, you know. Me personally, I didn't have OTAs, was only at like the last half of camp. So just being able to come in May and get that time with the coaches and being on the field and just getting the extra time with the playbook, I feel I'm definitely happy that I was able to do that instead of having to come in and learn an entire playbook in like 6 weeks. Like, the way that's been going right now has been great, just because, you know, I don't have to digest it all like that. And then on top of that, like, I get a chance to actually sit and watch film and learn, like, on not only me, but just like everything. Like, get to watch defenses, get to watch O-line and realize our job based off them. And then just a lot of things, just being able to slow the game down a little bit and like kind of try to just become better as a football player than just, okay, what does the tight end have here? What am I supposed to do here? But actually learning my responsibility as like the full field concept and why it makes sense and why I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's definitely been great. And then obviously just looking forward to my first full camp, you know. That should be fun. I'm definitely excited for that. And then preseason, and then just the opportunity to just compete, you know. Obviously, definitely won't ever be, you know, happy with what I have done, you know, trying to do more, you know. That's one thing JL always talks about, is like the more you can do. So now in year two coming in, just trying to do as much as I can for the team, whether that's fullback stuff, tight end stuff, special teams, just year two, trying to, you know, make it set in stone that I am capable of playing at this level. And it wasn't just a fluke just because I was there at the end or whatever. It was just like, you know, the stars aligned, but just let it be known that I can really play.
Well, the good news is we know that Coach LaFleur loves his tight ends, and so I'm sure he's going to keep as many of you around as he possibly can. Dominique, you know, we talked a lot of ball. If you don't mind sharing, I know this last year aside was kind of terrible for everyone, but what do you like to do in your downtime when you can relax and get away from football a little bit?
I definitely love to spend time just with the family. Obviously, we're a very close-knit group. We literally have like a family group message with like 30 or 40 of us. And that's usually being, you know, hearing pings, like 30 pings like every day from that group message, from whether it's my grandma, aunts, uncles, anything. Like, we're a close-knit group, so just getting a chance to just hang out with them like we used to when we were younger, and just, you know, eat and have fun and play games and, you know, do all that goofy stuff you do with your family, and just be able to just be around people with positive energy and that love you and just want nothing but good things for you. So definitely something I like to do. And I mean, besides that, just chilling, hanging out. I'm usually out and about, running around, doing something, whether it's training or uh, running routes or literally anything. Went on some vacations in the off season. Was out in Nashville with Bobby and them, so just getting a chance to just relax, kick my feet up a little bit. That's always great too.
Yeah, were you at Tight End University? Were you at that?
I was.
And how did that go? I mean, it seems like it's basically the who's who of talent around the league at the position. How did you get the invite, and how did that go for you?
Well, I mean, I was up in tight end. Well, I was up in Tennessee all of April. So I mean, I was with George and them already. So he was like, "Yeah, I mean, you were already up here. There's no point of you not to come back and work out again." And then it was honestly a really good experience getting able to see like guys you don't really see very often, like outside of a helmet. So getting able to see guys like Cole Kmet, obviously always good to see TJ, Knox from the Bills, just Waller from
Las Vegas,
the Raiders. Just a bunch of good guys getting coached up by Kelsey and Greg Olson and George. Obviously, the best in the business when it comes to being a tight end. So being able to go out there and rub shoulders with those guys, as well as learn from them, watch some film, and just be able to just trust and just have it was really just like a family vibe. I know that's what the kiddos love. Him, his dad, his mom, his sister, they love just like that family vibe. Like we're all here to be better. We're all here because we want each other to prosper in this game, and they really just want the respect for the tight ends to be there, because what they always say is we literally do what left tackles do and we do what wide receivers do, but we get paid not what they get paid. So just the fact that they just want that respect to be shown. And then we just all want to, we all want to be great. We all want to be, 1,100 yards a season like George and I guess his name is Kels. I always thought it was Kelsey. Travis.
That's breaking news. I think that's Kelsey too. So yeah,
that was interesting to learn. But obviously we all want 1,100 yards like those guys. So obviously being able to learn from them and learn how they digest the game and what they're thinking when they're trotting out to their splits or whatever. Just being able to think the way they think and see what they see was definitely helpful for me.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think it is what's really interesting is that with tight ends, you've got even that extra responsibility because you're lining up on the line of scrimmage. So you've got to block. And I know receiver, you have to block too, but it's just a little bit different in terms of the responsibilities. You may be blocking in some plays and not going out to make yourself available as a receiver. Other plays it could depend on the pre-snap reads, etc. So it's really fascinating to be able to, I'm sure, pick the brains of some of those guys that have been around the league for a number of years. So Dane, do you have anything else that you want to run by Dominique? I know I want to respect your time, man.
Yeah.
We've been going for a while here. So
yeah,
maybe just one more question and then we'll let you go.
Listen, I just have one question completely unrelated to football, but you're one of my favorite players on the offense. So I got to ask you a personal question. Music. What are you listening to? What do you like? What do you jam out to before the game? Are you a hype up guy? Are you kind of like a slow jam guy? What are you into?
I'm definitely more of an R&B guy, I would say. Even before the game, I just feel like that. Listening, obviously, I love listening to rap music. Old school rap's probably more my favorite. Obviously, I love what's happening now and when it comes to rap music, but R&B is probably my number one, I would say, and that's definitely what I listen to during like during going to the facility as well as like warming up, just because, you kind of relax. There's no need to get too hyped up. The game's not even played yet, so we're not even dressed yet for the game. So I'm usually listening to some R&B, just trying to relax, just trying to get some last minute thoughts in my head during the game when I do, or during like warm ups and whatnot, and just trying to be ready for just to go out there and play the best game. But then of course, when we're going out there, that's when it ramps up a little bit and you get more of that hype up rap music, everything like that. But up until then, until we're ready to run out of the tunnel, I'm more relaxed, more cool, slow jams, stuff like that. And just trying to be in the moment, just not get too hyped up or anything, just kind of relax and just be ready.
Yeah, are you a car singer? I can see you kind of cruising, listening to some music and you kind of singing along. Yeah.
Absolutely. I made a tweet not too long ago that I was like, if they literally had an American Idol where you could either sing in the car or in the shower, like I might do some damage in that. Like that's what I do. I stay doing that all the time.
I love it. No, thanks for sharing that. It's so fun to hear, And any particular artist you listen to or any recommendations for our listeners?
Obviously can't go on with, Drake, obviously. Listen to Lucky Day, Giveon, her, Janae Aiko, the list goes on.
Cool.
And I'm not going to ask you what you consider old school rap, because then I'll feel really old.
Old school rap is like, Biggie, Tupac, Ludacris. That's not old school, but technically it is old school. But
you actually made me feel better. That's right in the range for us. So, all right, awesome. Well, hey, Dominique, really appreciate you taking the time. It was great to talk to you, get to know you a little bit better, and to hear more about your journey and your story and what you experienced last year was really one of the coolest stories I think out of last season. That was full of many of them. So, but before you go, do you mind giving us a Go Pack Go?
Yeah, no problem, man. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Yep. Go Pack Go. Good luck at camp. We'll be up there next Saturday cheering for you. So good luck, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dominique.
Horseshoes and hand grenades. There ain't no second place in a Lambo. It's a whole new